Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the Commander Smiths here with Searching for the Spotlight Wolverine Best There Is. New Marvel Secret Lair has been shipped out. People have had it for a week or two at this point. And I'm excited to build it. I know Adam is going to be building Storm. He's compiling his cards currently. So look out for that in the next week or two. That'll be probably more exciting than what I got going on. Wolverine is still, very popular. A lot of people like him. And I get it. I get it, right? Wolverine, best there is. One in a red and a green, 2/2. Double all damage Wolverine would deal. At the beginning of each end step, if Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn, put a 1/1 counter on him, and then you can pay 2 to regenerate Wolverine. And so he is a mutant berserker hero. I get that. He's a hero. Hero? Is that even a creature type? Like, there's like an old one from Ice Age. There's like an honor guard. I don't know. I don't know. Neither here nor there. But if you are not watching this live, you can watch this in, 1.5, 2 times speed. You get through it a lot quicker. I don't speak that fast. There's a lot of figuring out here. This will be roughly an hour, hour and a half. I'm in the 90s for current cards that I have. I'll cut it down to about 63-ish. We'll see. As long as I get around 70, I'll probably end the stream. But basically here, what I do is I just show you the cards that I got so far, cut it down, and then you just kind of see the deck making process at that point. Um, and so, but I said we were part of the Commander Smiths. Commander Smiths is a podcast that records every Monday night here on YouTube live. You can join us at any point. So subbing gets you the notification, hopefully. And also we do a bunch of other stuff right now. We're kind of low key, but we do, deck techs and building decks. And sometimes I do short videos on cards for curated MTG. And so Adam makes proxies and you can kind of check those out. We do have a Discord and a Patreon. That's how you get on the Discord. We also you can check out some of the rewards on the Patreon at that point. We do use proxies. You will see them in this pile. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them Adam will make and put the art together and kind of, you know, do artsy stuff. I don't know what any of it is. Um, so again, Wolverine, that's what we're gonna go with here. Looking forward to it. Basically, we got a lot of doubling up of damages, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see here. Answering a couple of phone things. All right. And then yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. Let's go through this. I don't remember what this is in at this point. Oh, it might be an instance. Ugh, no, I don't know what it's in. Oh, it's in CMC order. So that doesn't necessarily help me. I do CMC order, I do card type, and then I go in uses. So like draw, ramp, and other stuff like that. So those are what I go through when I'm trying to cut cards down and get into a spot. Right now we are. Uh-oh. Wait while we reconnect you. All right, chat is disconnected. Nobody writes anything there anyway. So right now we are in the 1 CMC bits. Most of the time, I show you the draw packages and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. Hey, if you can subscribe, thumbs up, or just make a comment or whatever. See what you're doing, what angle you're doing. This one is probably going to be more +1/+1 counter based, I think. Oh, there we go. OT Vacations, thanks for joining. Oh. All right. What's up, Adam? All right. And that's his work account. I don't have one of those because nobody lets me out of the house. So, but yeah, hit a thumbs up. That'd be greatly appreciated. So, a couple of different ways that I saw people make in Wolverine is basically make it a fight deck, and that makes a ton of sense, like, thematically, right? That's what Wolverine does, that's what everybody thinks of him as. There are some mutate cards out there that you could be grabbing in green, especially. I didn't even look at red, but there mutate isn't my favorite. Some people just love it, and if you like that, go for it. Totally makes sense with the mutants and whatnot. I think I've cut all of them at this point. Maybe Gem Razor's still in here, but we'll get there. And then I have mine is probably going to be more plus one counter base and not necessarily fighting, but like direct damage to creatures and whatnot. So we'll get to that. All right, Wolverine, cool. Let's go with we got the one CMC part. Tameo's safekeeping. That's target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible. That's the big thing is just protecting Wolverine. People are gonna try and get him, and if you can make this more spell based, there are some cards in there that are gonna be able to, synergize a little bit better. So if you don't want to go with spells, you go with equipment or you go with you know, permanent based protection. You can do that for sure. Force of Vigor, destroy artifact and or enchantment for free. Just trying to find some more removal for things other than creatures. And so you don't need a lot because most of your removal is going to be singularly as a fight type mechanic. But Force of Vigor is there. Berserk. This is one of them that was in the secret layer. It looks awesome. If I want to try and use as many Marvel Secret Layer cards as I possibly can. So this will probably stay in there, even though this isn't necessarily what I'm doing. There are definitely a couple of cards that'll do this. Soul Ring, you got the Iron Man version of it. I got the Mox Amber. That was a gift because I won it on Stump the Smith Savant, but also from Christopher. Greatly appreciated with that. Sensei's Top for sure. Tail Swipe, one of those fighting cards that I'm okay with, but it's an instant. It's 1 mana. A lot of good stuff there. You're targeting them, putting a 1/1 until end of turn. So that's cheap, instant speed. Those are the big things. I'm hoping to be able to cast a couple of, on opponent's turns, stuff like that. That's why instant speed is important. Lava Spur Brutes, just haste and a little bit of protection, a little bit of +1/+0. Animation module, whenever you put a 1/1 counter on Wolverine, pay 1, create a little 1/1 token. You are very spell based in this deck. And so having some forms of just chump blockers to slow everybody else down, I think is probably needed. Adamantium Bonding Tank. I don't know how many 1/1 counters are going to happen on Wolverine. I mean, it's the goal, right? When you put 1 on, you put maybe 2 or 3 on, and hopefully you can get them pretty big pretty quick. And then if he goes away, this is a good way to save it. It's the Ozolith reskinned, and obviously it works in the deck. So we'll hopefully keep that around. Wild Growth, 1 mana enchantment ramp. Hopefully it should be fast and easy right there. Utopia Sprawl, same thing, just on a forest, but can choose red mana in this one. Stocking the Pantry. Enchantment, whenever you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on a creature you control, put a supply counter, and then you can pay 2, remove a supply counter to draw a card. So just, this is a cool card, new from Bloomburrow. Whenever you got a commander that's going to be, or just a lot of cards getting 1/1 counters, this could be cool. I don't know. It kind of feels like Clues, I would say. Like it just, whenever you put a 1/1 counter on something, create a clue. That's kind of what it feels like. So, Miri's Guile, just resetting the top, knowing what you're getting. Good way to do it. Hardened Scales, whenever you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, put another one on there. So Wolverine would get 2 within this in play. Faithless Looting, just cheap draw, more card selection, I guess. Horrific Assault, sorcery, 1 mana. And then Wolverine essentially deals combat damage equal to its, or not combat damage, just damage equal to its power to a creature. The big thing about this is Wolverine does not state combat damage. I'll keep it in frame. It states damage. And so that's why fighting is really cool. The problem that I don't want with fighting is that it's only triggering once. A lot of fighting kind of happens on sorcery speed when it becomes cheap. And also you have the chance that Wolverine dies. And so if Wolverine's just dealing direct damage to another creature, that'll double, 2 to 4, and then you get that counter on them. That's kind of the goal. Something cheap, something easy. Way to go. Hard hitting question. Same thing. Sorcery speed, deal damage to a creature or planeswalker equal to the power. Birds of Paradise, best ramp in the game. Let's be honest, that's not a rock. Ragavan, Nimble Pilfer. I mean, it's ramp and card draw in a way, so it's not a bad thing to have on the deck. Overprotect, another Bloom Burrow, cool card, instant, 2 mana. Target creature you control gets +3/+3, trample, hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn. That's a lot of stuff going on. Um, so I mean, if they don't block, you just got 10 damage in with Wolverine. If they do, you pop it on there. He's going to win that combat, and it's going to be that's a solid card, I think. Heroic Intervention, yeah, of course. Demand answers, instant, an additional cost, sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, draw 2 cards. So just cheap kind of draw, throw possibilities. Basically the same thing without the sacrifice clause. Gaia's Gift, uh, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains reach, trample, hexproof, indestructible until end of turn. So the nice thing is 1/1 counter. I mean, this card is really good in this deck, but 1/1 counter, the trample, the indestructible, even the hexproof, all that's doing pretty good stuff. Teamer Battle Mage, that's that just a little bit more like Berserk, but target creature gains double strike until end of turn, and then if Wolverine's power is 4 or more, it also gains trample. That's big stuff right there. Cosmic Hunger. Oh, we're in the twos, obviously. We got there for a bit. We'll do that kind of stuff. All right. 2 mana instant, target creature you control deals combat or deals damage equal to its power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. So that, along with bite down, is to a creature or planeswalker. Same thing, instant speed. You got Thrash, which is target creature you control. Same thing, just to a creature or planeswalker. This is why it's in there. It was Thrash. Follow the Hammer is just to a creature with the power. Infectious Bite is power dealt to a creature, and then each opponent gets a poison counter. That part doesn't really matter, but sometimes it's fun, right? And Ram Through is damage equal to a creature, and basically anything extra is trampled over, which is kind of fun as well. Arcane Signet, another gift from Christopher, and the Thanos glove. Essentially, I know it's not, but it kind of is, and it works here. So appreciate that. The Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. So putting more 1/1 counters on Wolverine has the ability to put a 1/1 counter on it, and I will hopefully never cycle it. Ordeal of Nylea, Aura, put it on Wolverine. Whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. And then if there are 3 or more counters on it, sack it and go get 2 basics from your deck and put it into play tapped. Artist Talent. We have Enchantment. It's 2 mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to discard a card, then draw a card if you so choose. And then you can pay 3 more to up a level to it. Non-creature spells cost 1 less to cast. You got plenty of instance here. And then 3 more if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, deals that much damage plus 2 instead. It's basically perfect for this deck. It allows you to loot a little bit, and then those, I don't know what to call them. I'm just gonna cards, even though they're not fight cards, but it makes them cost 1 less, and then it double or adds 2 more damage onto that stuff. So it's doing pretty good. Let's see here. I'm gonna, all right. 2s and 3s have my highest CMC. So Lion Umbra, another aura, enchant modified creature. So it has to be on a card with +1/+1 counter on it, or another aura or equipment, but it gets +3/+3 vigilance and reach. Now, and Umbra armor. But the cool thing is about vigilance is really cool because it allows you to sit around and block. And so if somebody attacks and you can just chump block, get more counters on them, that is a nice way to go about it. And it's a pretty cheap one. So you got Season of Growth. Whenever a creature ETBs, you scry one, and whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. So there's plenty of that in there. Hopefully, you get plenty of scrying and plenty of drawing. You have Sylvan Library for the draw. The big thing is in this kind of deck, you're going to run out of cards, and so you need to fill up your hand. And some of these staples are really important. So Sylvan Library needs to be in there. Hunter's Talent. We have when it ETBs, target creature you control deals combat or damage equal to the power to target creature you don't control. And then you can pay 2 whenever you attack. Creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample. And then 4 at the beginning of your end step. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Um, the thing is this is nice damage to a creature with upside. And so, like, if I can get there, that probably means I need to put more card draw in, but also it works. Fall of Gil-galad. Oh boy. Ugh.
Can't even read.
I don't know how to say that, but this is a Lord of the Rings card. It's scry 2, then put 2/1/1 counters on target creature you control, which +1/+1 counter themed. And then on the third one, until end of turn, target creature you control gains whenever this creature dies, draw 2 cards, and it fights. And so you can fight with Wolverine or not, whatever, but it does a lot. Nature's Lore, Marvel 1, go get a forest, put into play. 3 visits, same thing, different name. Tormenting Voice, 2 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Tormenting Voice, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So it's just cheap, kind of discarding stuff. Hull Breach, choose one or, it's basically destroy an artifact or an enchantment or an artifact and an enchantment. So if you can hit 2, you do 2. Stump Stomp. I like this because it's one of them flip lands, and I really don't play with these very much, even though a lot of people love them. So, but you can choose to have it come into play as a land that'll get you a red or a green, or target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another creature you don't control. So that works. Contest of Claws. It's another one of them damage things, but if excess damage was dealt this way, discover X, where X is the excess damage. So a little bit of card advantage on that. We'll see. Sakura Tri-Builder, more land into play. Goblin and Necromancer. So green and red spells cost 1 less. So another cost reduction, which is nice. Biophagus, tap for any color of mana, and then if it's a creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. Again, a little bit more of that synergy. Questing Druid, instant 2 mana, exile the top 2 cards. You can play it until the end of the turn. And then as the creature, 2 mana, 1/1. Whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a 1/1 counter on it. So it's a little bit of card draw. Another one of those cards that'll get you more counters. So it works. Cathedral Acolyte. Each creature you control with a counter on it has ward 1, and then put a 1/1. It taps to put a 1/1 counter on target creature that entered the battlefield this turn. So something that supplies the counters, something that protects the countered creatures, and all kind of works together there, right? All right. That's the ends of the 1s and the 2s. Let's see here. All right, into the 3 CMC spot. Inspiring Call. Great card in any 1/1 counter deck. Draw a card for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it, and they gain indestructible until end of turn. I love this card. I don't know how many cards it's going to allow me to draw. I don't know how many creatures I'm really going to have with counters on it, other beyond Wolverine. But I don't have a lot of draw spells either, so I don't like cutting those. Beast Within, just that flexibility because we have a lot of creature removal, crotchal removal, but not a lot of other types of removal. So this might just be it. It might be something else, but Chaos Warp, same difference. Collective Resistance. This has Escalate, so for each mode that we want to choose beyond the first, destroy an artifact or an enchantment, or target creature gains hexproof indestructible. So it's probably a little bit of removal, and a little bit of protection for 3 mana. So, um, Colony Ambush, another one of those cool flip cards. So that'll come into play. It can be a land if you so wish. If not, it's 3 mana instant, and Wolverine's fighting something. So it gives you that little bit of flexibility. Wind Swift Slice. This is dealing power to another creature, and anything in excess, you get 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens. So it's just a little bit more bonus with that damage. Hunted Cloak, Vigilance, Trample, Haste. So the haste is nice. Trample's really nice, being able to get Wolverine through, and the Vigilance, like I said before, able to sit around and block all day. And so you keep on putting 1/1 counters on it if you have to chump with it. I don't think you want to sit there and tap it down with the regenerate. Um, but if you can chump block with it and put a 1/1 counter on it, I think that works really well. So Soul's Fire, power to any target essentially. And so, if Wolverine is a 5/5, you Soul's Fire it to their face, that's 10 damage. That'll double up. Swiftfoot Boots for the haste and protection. Mithril Coat, instant speed, indestructible. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. This is basically there just for, you get the treasure tokens, you get that little bit of looting. There aren't many creatures in here that I'm going to copy. I have thought about cutting this one, and since we're here, I'll cut it. I'll cut it. Actually, I should be going back. I'm going to go back through because there are some other cards where I've thought about cutting it. Questing Druid has not been, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm okay cutting that at this point. We're just going to have to see where my draw is at, if that makes sense. Let's go through. I might have too many spells in here. I don't know. Is Ragavan a good card in here? I'd probably rather have the Kiki Jiki one than Ragavan. I'm probably just making everybody mad. Just cutting 2 amazing red cards. I don't know what I'm doing. Come on. Anything else? Anything else? Bueller. That's good for now. Okay. Back to the threes. Tyrion Soul Cleaver. Doji at SmithCon pulled this out. It was really, really good there. Just treasures, clues, creatures. You put so many 1/1 counters on it, and you're a 1/1 counter deck. And also having Vigilance, like I said, is really nice. So hopefully this does some work in there. Rhythm of the Wild, Marvel Art, haste, 1/1 counters, plenty of synergies there. Unquenchable Fury. This is an aura. Whenever this creature attacks, it deals X damage to defending player, where X is the number of cards in their hand. And then, so basically, whenever this creature attacks, however many cards they have in their hand, double it. That's the damage that they take. It's essentially feels like it's in an Ishin deck where it's a double trigger, but it's not. It's just doubling the damage because that creature's dealing it. It will double. That feels like it's going to be really cool. So hopefully that stays in there. Repercussion. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, repercussion deals that much damage to that creature's controller. Another reason why I didn't really want to focus on fight, because your creature also is dealt damage. A lot of these cards that I'm choosing is just dealing damage directly to that creature with no repercussions. And roll credits. So I think that'll be really beneficial. I don't plan on running any mass damage removal like Blasphemous Act to try and win out the game. That's not something that I'm looking to do. But if you have repercussions in the deck, you can, that's it, it's always an option. Fall of Care, Andros. Ugh, these Lord of the Ring cards
Can't even
screwing me. But whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, amass Orcs X, where X is the excess damage. And so essentially all of these spells that are saying this creature deals this power to this other creature, that's non-combat damage. And so anything in excess, you get to create an orc. So that's kind of cool in that way. Storm's Will, which is Jessica's will, staple. We'll go with it. Wheel of Misfortune. This is a cool one where you're just paying life if you want to draw cards, and if you don't, you lose. Wheel of Fortune will also run that. Um, as I said, we do run proxies, but we do own one of every proxy. So I do own. Oh, good for you. There we go.
Oh,
I
good
do
for
own a Wheel
you.
of Fortune, so I run it in decks. Freestyle Strider Lookout Reach. And then whenever you commit a crime, which is all of these like dealing damage, that's what fighting is. Fighting is committing a crime. You may put a land card from among them of the top four. Put into play, only happens once each turn. You only want to be doing it once each turn with Wolverine anyway. So it works. Kodama of the West Tree. Modified creatures you control have trample. That's going to be Wolverine. And again, I don't know how many more, but they gain trample. And if they deal damage to a player, you get to go and get a basic land from and put it into play tapped. So it should be good. I should be able to get 1 to 2 through. Tyrant Guard, which is another cool card. 2 and a green and an X. 3/3. If X is 5 or more, which is 1/1 counters on it, you get to draw a card, and then you can sacrifice Tyrant Guard. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So it's a way to potentially draw cards, a way to potentially sacrifice and protect Wolverine, stuff like that. And Wolverine can protect himself. I hate leaving that open, but hopefully the instant speed has me opening up my land anyway. So there we go. All right. Like I said, Gem Razor is in here. It has to mutate, so it's on theme with that regard, but I might just kind of cut it. Whenever a creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment opponent controls. So essentially it would turn Wolverine into a 4/4 reach trample that would destroy an enchantment the one time, and then counters from there make it bigger. Um, so I don't know. I'll probably do I like this better than Beast Within or Chaos Warp? Because that's probably what I'm going to be hitting. The big thing about Chaos Warp, I don't think Chaos Warp can hit a land either, but Beast Within can. We'll keep it around. All right, the one ring. I mean, it's like I said. I think you need to really be able to draw a lot of cards so that you're able to consistently dealing damage with those instants. So something like the one ring should be in there. Sting the Glinting Dagger. At the beginning of each combat, untap equipped creature. The equipped creature has first strike as long as it blocks. So 1/1 and haste. The big thing is the untapping spot. I was just thinking that I like that. It's kind of a different version of vigilance, and also if I have to regenerate, it will untap it the next turn. Um, I think it's a bit of a stretch. I think I'd rather just have vigilance. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I think we're cutting Sting, unfortunately. Commander's Plate, Marvel Art, +3/+3, protection from blue, black, and white, and then 3 to equip. So yeah, baby. Live wire live wire lash. 2 mana, 2 to equip. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, and whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell, this creature deals 2 damage to any target. So one of those fight cards, you are targeting it. Live wire lash will deal 2 damage, which will be doubled with Wolverine because the damage is coming from the creature, not the equipment. Um, Also getting +2/+0, so making Wolverine at least a 4/2. You're doing a lot of work there, so I like where that's going. Tarolf, God of Fury. Whenever a creature an opponent can creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage, Tarolf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. So this would be taking the excess damage away from Wolverine, but it is a type of trample in this deck. Again, not running Blasphemous Act, so can't win out like with repercussions or anything, but it should be a fun way to go about it. Embercleave. So Wolverine getting +1/+1 double strike and trample is going to be pretty huge wherever it's at in the game. Sword of Once and Future, Pro Black and Blue, +2/+2. And then you get to surveil 2 and then cast an instant or sorcery from your graveyard of 2 or less. So a lot of my spells are 2 or less. It feels kind of like that kind of bonus, but a worse commander's plate, if that makes sense. So the blow, the pro, give me a second. All right. Protection from blue and black is similar to commander's plate, but just don't have the white +2/+2 and plus instead of +3/+3, but you get to cast something from the graveyard. So I feel like it's a different type of commander's plate, which I think I'd really like in here. Runes of the Dew. Wolverine will get +2/+2, double strike, and trample. So it's a second Embercleave in this deck. Not a bad deal. Burning Anger Aura. Put it on Wolverine. Tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. If I had more stuff like this, then Sting would be really good, right? Um, but I don't have a lot there. So, but I still see this doing a lot of damage. Um, Double vision. So whenever you cast this stuff, again, this is no good in with fight cards because you'll just kill Wolverine. And you don't really want to do that. But with these direct damage ones, you're gonna get a lot of work in. I think that'll be good. And you don't have, the draw spells become a lot better instead of having to discard a card or, and it's just one and you're drawing 4 cards, which sounds a lot better, right? Chandra's Ignition is a bonkers card in Wolverine. You know, it's dealing 2 damage to everything if it hasn't pumped up at all, but really it'll be 4 to everything. And then, each opponent takes 4 at least. That's bare minimum. And it's likely going to be a lot more. Vandal Blast, destroying all artifacts. This is one that I really like. That's has to stay in. I just so limited in non-creature removal. I don't have a lot of flexibility in that regard. Seedborn Muse, this is kind of like Sting as well, but being able to untap your land, it allows me to just regenerate when I need to. It's a perfect card. Goldspan Dragon, whenever it attacks, becomes the target of spell, create a treasure token. You got enough of those spells that are targeting it, and so you can get treasure tokens out of it as well. And then you can, treasures get you double at this point. Backdraft Hellkite. Whenever it attacks, each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. And so just bring back a ton of your removal and draw at that point. Chandra Hope's Beacon. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it only once each turn, and then there's some bonuses there. It's basically there to double up your spells. And I think at the 6 mana spot, all right, let's read those others. +2 to add 2 mana of any combo. And then +1, exile the top 5 cards until the end of your next turn. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among them. Cast an instant. Yeah, it's probably worth a cut at this point. 6 mana is just too high, I think. Benevolent Hydra. Whenever you put a 1/1 counter on Wolverine, really add another one, and you can move counters around with it. Kerbis Harvest Celebrant. It's an X spell, and it is with number of 1/1 counters equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. So no matter what, it's going to be a 2/2. But remove a 1/1 counter to prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another creature with a 1/1 counter on it. Wolverine. Mizzix's Mastery, another one of just casting your removal and draw cards from your graveyard. And then Silk Guard. Put a 1/1 counter on up to X number of target creatures, and then auras, equips, and modified creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So nice little protection spell in that regard. That's it. That is the list. That's 34. Like I said, I cut what? 2, 3, 4, 5. Cut 5 cards so far. We're probably at about 90 cards. So if I can cut 20 in the next 30 minutes, we'll be doing all right. The Let me quick get a drink. So like I said, um, there's kind of this pseudo fight theme and then 1-1 counter thing going on. Um, I think that's the way I'm gonna go with it. It's pretty similar to what I was running with Zangief. The big difference there is I dropped the death touch theme because there's no black in this one, but also having that be 5 and this be 3, I think it's gonna do a lot more. The question ends up being, um, is Wolverine gonna stay on the table? And I don't think people are going to really be after it that much, but we'll see. It depends on how many people we piss off, right? Protection, this is 1-1 counters. Graveyard stuff, that is, manas, removal. We'll move that over because this will be the direct damage, and that'll be all my other removal. Double. That's kind of a double up. Direct damage. This is an aura. Move that over. Hit that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh. All right. We just have so many different boxes to kind of pick from that it gets to be a little tough sometimes on shrinking the ideas down and what we're gonna do. And see that's like excess. I don't. That's probably gotta go. Like just making maybe a big dude, but I don't think that's gonna do much. Repercussions that will do some stuff. Damage, protection. Um, Trample and haste. That's there. That's the damage. Removals. Probably put that in the draw. Mana. So, how do most people out there? How many we got here? 4 people chime in for these flip land ones. What do you mark that as? Is it like a half land in your deck? So like you're willing to take out a land, or is it a 1-to-1 ratio that you're doing? Is that what you're going for? Scry 2 damage. Because I'm not quite sure how I would want to go. That's reduction. Da da da. But because again, I haven't used them nearly that much. Protection, draw. We have a lot of protection in here as well. We might be able to back up off that. A lot of draw discard. I'd like to be able to play a little bit more from the yard, but counters. Yeah, that's another one. That's just random tokens. Berserker, removal, protection. All right, let's see how many. I think how I've looked at it is could go lower on the mana curve if I have them in a deck. Yeah, for sure. I can agree with that. On if you have them in the deck, you can have less. But what kind of ratio do you look at? Like, do you have 2 of them in there, and then you can take out 1 land, or do you think it's you got 1, it counts as a land? Uh, I've only had 1 that has a deck that 1 or 2 of them, so I really don't have much experience either. Yeah, I think the only one that I really did was, like, Malakir Rebirth. I'd rather have it as a spell, um, and that's kinda how I'm looking at it, like, I'd much rather have it as a spell, but if I need to play it like a land, I can. You think 2 to 1 as well? That sounds right. I'm okay with it. Yeah, like, because 'cause I'd rather just have the spell. That's the big thing is I'd just rather have it as a spell, but it's a nice thing to have in a pinch, I guess. Alright, let's see how many draw spells we have here. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 with Jessica's Will and Artisan's Talent. 14, 15, 16 to a degree. It's a little light, but I also don't want to take much out. Um, if anything, because a lot of these like ones that I have to discard aren't really card advantage. Now these four, I have four legitimate draw spells in this deck with the two wheels, one ring, and library. Those are legitimate cards. And Sensei's top. So we got five legitimate ones, and everything else kind of dinks and doinks. And that might be all right. So I think I'm happy with Jessica's Will, and we just got to keep the draw in there. Artisan's Talent feels really good as well. I'm happy with that because that two is doubled with Wolverine as well. It's adding that two. Yeah. So I like that. Let's see where we are ramp wise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right in there as well. Interesting. I was just I can definitely feel the back is different, which is let's see here. Compared to another secret layer. It's like a lot rougher. Let's see here. See what the other one feels like. Yeah, they're a little bit rougher. Weird. Okay, doesn't matter. The flip lands kind of remind me of the channel lands. I use the channel lands all the time. In a game, I tend to play them as land because not missing a land drop, but if it's mid to late game, I hold. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a proper I agree with that assessment totally, Adam. Like at the beginning of the game, if you have to drop it as your third land drop, you're gonna do that. I think, and I would do that to the channel lands as well. Um, I don't the other thing that could happen, and I do this with the channel lands sometimes too, is like, um, you have a bounce land or some way to pick up a land, and then you can use it as a spell later. That's kind of a fun way to do it. Um, or so like Lara Croft, I use the channel land, Lara Croft attacks, remove it from the graveyard to be able to play it. Like that's kind of a good way to go about it. Okay. Ramp 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Um, I don't dislike the number. Generally, I don't have a lot of artifacts in a green one, but these are both from Chris. I'll play them in this kind of deck. Might, when Marvel comes out with more stuff and I build a different deck, these might move over. But as of right now, I like how some of that is looking. So we'll keep that around. Um, so between, yeah, doesn't matter. So removal, that's a huge stack. We'll have to look at that a bit more. But everything else, so that's artifacts only, anything in that regard. So the question ends up being Hull Breach can hit two things, Force of Vigor can hit two things, Vanoblast can hit a bunch of things, and then we're just looking at Beast Within, Chaos Warp. That can hit a land, that can hit a land. Is Gem Razor the one to go? Instant speed. I think that might be enough. I think we'll go with Gem Razor getting cut at this point. I like these as pieces of removal at least. So I think the biggest ones that I need to look at are the boosts and the direct damage. There's plenty of direct damage in here. So protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Probably a little too much, but heroic intervention for sure. I think, do I care about the haste is kind of a question, right? Mithril coat makes sense. I like Rhythm of the Wild. Do I want to prevent damage from Kerbis? I think I like Silk Guard because the one thing that I didn't realize that it does auras, equipment, and modified creatures. So it'll protect your equipment and your auras if somebody's trying to remove it. That will protect it. I did not realize that initially. So I do like that hexproof part. Silk Guard's probably in. I think Kerbis, the damage prevention probably just isn't doing anything. If I was running Blasphemous Act type cards, it'd probably be a bit better, so then I can save some of my creatures. But we can cut that probably at this point. And then so at this point, let's keep the two haste. Well, can I get rid of one? I do have Rhythm of the Wild. I have some other haste enablers as well. So that's haste. That's haste. See if there's anything else. So I think Lava Spur Boots can go because I have 3 haste enablers and the ward isn't super amazing. And I can probably think the same way with Cathedral Acolyte. Ward isn't amazing. I'd probably rather just have the instance in this regard, just because there's more synergies there. Now, the thing that I would say is keep this in mind that if you do end up with a lot of creatures that do have +1/+1 counters on them, then this becomes a lot better. I just don't know how many are going to end up in that. So as of right now, we'll probably ditch that. And probably like the boost, like some removal. Oh, that's probably another reason to get rid of Gem Razor. Because I can hit 2 things. 1, 2, 2. Collective Restraint. Do like that one. So the question ends up being like, that is likely not to hit a lot of stuff. So if I'm just working with Wolverine to be the one guy, it's probably not good enough. Just be happy with the singular removals. So we're not doing too bad in that regard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, under 10 is good for protection. All right, let's get rid of some of the randoms. Animation module, I think I like that a lot. I like Repercussion and Torolf in here just to get some direct damage through. I like some of the Graveyard and doubling up going on. I think that's about the right amount. I'm probably happy with those at this point. And then some of the 1/1 counter stuff going on. It's just 4. I'm happy with any and all of them. It's not too much. Um, So I think that'll be good. The if I had to cut one, it'd probably be the Ozolith, but maybe not. Either way, I think they're all in there good. Um, 3, 4, 5, 6. 56. All right. Let's look at the boosts right now. We want to keep Berserk and Temur Battle Rage. This is another thing that we could be doing is there's a lot of instant speed pumps that could just really do a lot of work for Wolverine on just being aggressive. We'll go with these two because they're basically the best at what there is. But and we'll go with that at this point. I like Lion Umbra for the Vigilance. Same thing with Haunted Cloak and Tyrion Soul Cleaver. Commander's Plate is probably the best big boost. And so I don't know where Livewire Lash is probably just interesting. I don't know where to put that beyond that, but Embercleave, Runes of the Deuce, and Sword of Once and Future. And then Livewire Lash. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right here for what can work. So the things that I don't want to take out, but probably will have to, is the double strike and trample. Because I'm instant speed. Um, it's kind of a spell slinging spot. That's 1/1 counter. That's cheap. Vigilance, trample, and haste. I like the trample. Um, I like casting stuff. I like getting through. I think Livewire Lash. I'm really liking the idea of that. So I think these three are in. I like Commander's Plate. But it's nice protection. So these two are similar. These two are similar. Do I want to take out? I feel like if I take out the vigilance, I like those a lot. Shit. This is the tough spot. This is the tough spot. All right. Take those out. I don't have to look at them right now. I like them. We'll be fine there. All right. I kind of want to do the double strike and trample thing. That feels strong. That feels like I'm going to get through. I was going to do some work. Same thing with that. So these are probably pretty similar. This adds protection, and this adds playing from the graveyard. Let's see what some of those graveyard bits are again. So when we're talking about that, we're basically talking Backdraft Hellkite or Mizzix's Mastery and Sword of Once and Future. What do I want to do here? I feel like I'm just cutting a ton of creatures and then it's just all on Wolverine. And that is a bit scary to me. I think it's going to be Backdraft Hellkite that gets the cut there. And we'll keep these two in that regard. I still like Commander's Plate is probably sticking around because it has the Marvel art on it. Let's keep Commander's Plate just because I want it. Great job. All right. Reach and vigilance. Vigilance. Trample vigilance. Haste. Haste is nice. Is that what we're doing? Am I cutting those two? That just sounds so rough. I think so. Because think about this, like people can block and they can still somehow win through that, but more than likely, Commander's Plate is going to just deal 10 damage to the dome. Like you're going to attack somebody, it's going to be hard for them to block it. But the trample is going to get you something through. Shit. So are these going away? Is the Soul Cleaver? That's 1/1 counters. Lion Umbra? That might go away. Shit. Let's keep them all. Let's keep them all for now. See? Making decks isn't hard. You just gotta not cut cards, right? All right. Then the last bit are fights. So that is a fight. This is direct damage. direct damage, and then this is instant speed. Sorcery, sorcery. Instant, instant, 2 speed. And we got that. This is essentially a sorcery. We could move those over. That's not even on there. Shit. Let's go right there. So that's 2 speed. Sorcery, that is a fight at instant speed. I think it's the only fight one I have. Chandra's Ignition will automatically be in. I don't think there's any question about that. Equal to its power. So this going straight to the dome feels good, but similar to these three. This is just to creatures at instant speed. I don't know. I like the little bit extra. I might I think I'll cut Thrash just because the CMC is maybe a little bit tougher. Um, maybe we don't need all of it. So this is that second land thing. We got to land and land stump stomp. Um 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I guess these technically, this one does not go to a creature, which is fine. Um, but sorcery speed is not nearly as desirable. I like the doubling up. Burning Anger with the Seedborn Muse seems really good. I don't know if that's going to happen, but um, maybe that's not necessarily worth it anymore. Maybe we can cut that. Ugh. Soul's Fire. Still like that, probably. I think the other thing that I'm thinking is these might be cuttable because they're not instants. I'd probably rather have Tail Swipe as a fight card and then that as a fight card. One man is really nice, but I could just kind of attack on my turn and then be able to likely deal damage to a creature. Um, I gotta go. Um, so right now we need to probably decide because right here I like the land, I like the one mana fight, and then as a sorcery that'll get me another card. Stomp as another land, and then this has those bump ups. Kind of thin on mana, but I just don't see myself paying 2, 2, and then 4. That's a big investment for what's going on. So let's cut that for now. Like I said, I like those probably. And then between these, are there any that I can or want to cut? Create jump blockers, ram through, get some extra damage through. It's essentially the same card there. A little bit of flexibility with planeswalkers and battles, and a poison counter just does not matter. So these are essentially the same card. Um, where are we at there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably keeping those at this point. Let's see here. 5, 6. 30. 30. 18. So we're at 78. Moving along all right, huh? All right, so we did CMC. We did what are they doing? We have if I can get 10 more cuts, let's go with types. So creatures, enchantments, sorcery. It's not a bad way to instant. I kind of always have them in the same spot. cheating, and then that just allows me to know where to go with it, how fast I can. I don't even really have to look at it very often, and except for when I'm talking, and then kind of splits my brain, and it doesn't work as well. But I have a feeling I'm going to be pretty creature light, which I'm normally a creature heavy player. Um, so always open for board wipes, huh? Sorcery. Yeah, plenty of enchantments in this one too, which is interesting. Holy moly. What is that? Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 creatures. Normally I'm over 20. That's kind of wild. This is definitely more spell slingery. And so cutting a lot of those cards was probably a good idea. Yeah, this is even a sacrificing a creature. Yikes. Um okay, so what's the next bet? Um I don't have much treasure production there. It's kind of there because I can use this as a when I am dealing casting those spells, dealing the fight cards, then it can give me a treasure and stuff like that. Um but looking at this, I mean, over and over, Kodama the West Tree will get you a one or two per turn. That works. It's probably good enough. Same thing with Free Strider Lookout. Like, yikes, though. That's like no creatures. It's fine for now. It's fine. All right. It's fine. All right. Let's look at the artifacts that we're doing. The Ozolith, still like that. The other Ozolith, Live Wire Lash, Terrian Soul Cleaver. Yeah, not a lot of creatures. That's gonna bother me. But we'll see how it goes, I guess. Haunted Cloak, Sword. I mean, with all these buffs, maybe it just works out. Like any one creature, as long as it can get through, we're good to go. I don't hate any of these artifacts at this point. Let's go through that again. Animation module. Yeah, this just feels weird to me on the back. Arcane, Mox Hamper, Commander's Plate. Feel pretty good. Haunted Cloak, could that be something that goes? We have a Swiftfoot Boots. We definitely don't want Lightning Greaves in this kind of deck because we're targeting our own creature a lot. And I think we're good. I think we do Haunted Cloak. I think that's fine. Like the 1/1 counters, like Live Wire Lash, counters. Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, enchantments. Um, dealing damage, double vision. I think I like that. Yeah, yeah. Hardened scales makes sense to me. Lion Umbra. I still like that vigilance. I still like it quite a bit. Runes of the Deuce, Unquenchable Fury, Ordeal of Nylea. Yep, yep, yep. I like where everything has gotten down to. I think it's working quite a bit. Alright, Guile. Yep, yeah. I like those. Okay. Go sorceries. I have not cut anything yet, so progress. Contest is stomp, land, removal. I like some of these things as well. Don't really. Yeah, we'll keep that for now. That's doing some work. It's doing some work. All right, instance. It's pretty thick. Team of battle rage, berserk, tail swipe, colony ambush. Yep. Soul's fire. All right, that's directly to the face, which I do like. That's probably just kind of like a, a little bit of burn to the face is probably what this deck needs. The question ends up being like, am I going to be able to keep Wolverine on the board? I can see myself just getting run over. Um, Beast Within, Heroic Intervention, Silk Guard, Temio Safekeeping. Yeah, I kind of like all of these at this point. Inspiring Call could probably end up getting cut though. 3 mana to draw basically a card. Um, Probably isn't needed. So one cut on that go around. I would like 7 more. Um, okay, let's. I think at this point I'm gonna do one more round of just like what are they doing? Draw, ramp, stuff like that, and go through and do one more set of cuts, and then we'll call it a night at this point. So, we've made some good progress, and let's put that up there this time. Um, and I'll get there. If you have any questions, just ask in the comments, and then I'll come and give you my advice or whatever I think is happening. I just need to play through stuff a little bit to make sure that kind of works in my head. Um, draws, removals. That's like legitimate removal. I like that a lot. Drawing. That's a scry too. I guess. Oh. Boosts. Oh yeah. We do have shit. Right. Makes sense. Graveyard. That's just a lot of random ideas that are kind of coming together all right, but still feels off. That's damage. Might be spread too thin or something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I might get rid of the Goldspan Dragon just because it's. I only have 10 creatures. Why would I get rid of Goldspan Dragon? Oh my goodness. That could be a problem. All right, let's see. 5, 6, 12, 13. 13 on that draw. 11, 12, 13. Yeah, not a lot there. We're pretty thin on both our draw and ramp. So we don't want to cut anything from there, and I'll probably end up having to add afterwards. So these are just the counter stuff that we're adding in. I dig that quite a bit. I like that creature count right there. Protection 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Um, so I guess, well, it has to be a non-creature. So the question ends up being, is the riot worth it? Maybe. Probably end up adding in more creatures later on just to like kind of counter what's going on. Like Silk Guard could get cut from maybe that cathedral dude. Just having stuff that has more creatures, more blocking ability. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where we're at. The boost. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. That just might be too much. So let's see. We have Runes of the Deuce, Teamer, Battle Mage, and Embercleave, kind of all doing the same thing. I think Berserk just makes it into the deck. There's nothing we can do about it. Sorry. Do we need 3 of these guys? Probably not. Embercleave is not going to get reduced much beyond 1. So it's essentially the same cost as Runes of the Deuce. I think I'm cutting runes. And trample, there's the potential to bring it down. If Wolverine dies, it gets to stick around a little bit. 3 is not a bad equip. It's probably what's happening. All right. Runes of the Deuce gets cut. We'll go with the spell. 3, 4, 5, 6. Commander's Place still probably sticks around. Which one do I like all of these? Haunted Cloak, Tyrion Soul Cleaver, and Lion Umbra. Lion Umbra is doing a lot of work for 2 mana. 2 mana +3/+3 vigilance and reach. I like that. Haunted Cloak, what you doing? That trample looks nice though, and the vigilance. Shit. I think I'm gonna cut Haunted Cloak. Okay, that's 3. Let's see here. All right, graveyard stuff. It's just the 2 at this point. Pop pop and double vision. Is double vision worth it? Is that what a real question? Is that a real question? I think it's needed. We're pretty spell heavy. Um all right. That little bit of damage. I like all 3 of them. Dealt damage, repercussions deals that much damage. To Rolf does that much damage. Yeah, that's just a good way to get through if somebody's locked down the board or whatnot. So I like that. All right. Legitimate removal is Chandra's Ignition. All right. Hull Breacher, Vandal Blast. That hits 2. That hits 2, and that can hit 2. So do we got to get rid of these 2? I hate to do it. I mean, they're the most flexible, but being able to get 2, 2, and 2 protection free, so I can like free this and do a wheel or something that probably feels pretty good. Yeah. All right. 4, 5. And then let's go with this. All right. Fury is what it is. Let's do a creature. We probably don't need that. All right. Sorcery, sorcery. Then we have instance. We have 2 fights at this point. Arena should probably be in this deck. Probably have it in there. I'd have to look through my land again, but 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that's happening. It's probably not enough. I think that might be part of it too, unfortunately. I think we're down around 70 something. 70, well, we're already 78, cut 5, 73. Let's see here. 2, 3, 30. 30. 13. So 73 at this point. So we got like 10 more cuts. I might do just run through and look at the curve a little bit, but I'm not going to cut. I just want to see where everything's kind of lining up because I have a feeling we got a lot of high end stuff here. I'm a bit worried. I think we're off. It's really just a 1. And maybe that's okay. I don't know. I don't know. 3, 4. 1, 2. 5. That's a 5. That's at least 3. 2. That's an 8. Like a 4. 1 and a 3. Our top end is pretty low, so we just got Mizzix's Mastery and Benevolent Hydra at the top. And then everything else is being cast at that 5 spot and lower. A lot in the 2 and the 3, really in the 2. Um, I'm not displeased with anything here other than maybe Goldspan Dragon, but I'm not cutting any more creatures. Um, and Mizzix's Mastery might turn into gold. Let's go back and let's turn that into the dragon. Yeah, backdraft Hellkite is probably the way I'll go. And I think also let's look through everything that I've cut so far. I think I want Cathedral Acolyte somewhere in there. Gem Razor. That's just the one though. Might go Questing Druid. All right. Let's go Questing Druid for the 2 spot, and let's get rid of Catharic Reunion. I think that's probably what we'll do because it's a sorcery. And then we can pop 2/2. That's a bit of work there. Cathedral Acolyte. We'll figure out where that kind of goes. Go a little bit more creature. I mean, we're just going up to 12 at this point. So the 4 spot is not much here, 2 equipment. So once you hit that 3rd spot or that 3rd ramp piece, I think you're gonna be good in this deck. So Swiftfoot, Tyrion Soul Cleaver, Repercussions seems like it's gonna be really good. Collective Restraint, one Slice, Soul's Fire, Calling the Ambush, Unquenchable Fury, um, Kodama's West Tree. That's probably another reason why I want the Acolyte in there and stuff like that. I like the two Will, Wild, Mithril Coat. Makes sense, right? You know, you just set that up and then you can just set stuff and get it going. All right. Two spots real thick. Teamer Battle Mage. Tons of stuff here. It's not really a draw, but that's fine. Season of Growth. Fall of Gil-galad. Yeah, I'm not mad at most of this stuff. All right, we're lower 70s at this point. We'll call it. We know we're heavy in the 2 spot, but that should be fine. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for everybody coming out. Giving a like, giving a subscribe to the Commander Smiths. Be greatly appreciated. If you do build Wolverine, let me know what you think in the comments and what you ended up going with. Either way, hopefully you have a good night. All right. Bye.